Today, we're at the educational nursery of Oakes Farms, where around 60 students from Pelican Marsh are getting a hands-on experience learning about Florida's agriculture. Alife, this is obviously a very magnificent place. What's the inspiration behind all this?
When I purchased this property, I said, I got to do a give back with this. And I'd been wanting to do something like this anyway, but it all just lined up in, in God's perfect timing to create this. And obviously to get the truth out about healthy food. I think that there's a huge misconception in our country, especially of what is really healthy. I think that a lot of what people think is healthy has been steered, unfortunately, by manipulation of money and things of that nature, even through our own USDA. The things that they say are healthy are not things necessarily that I'd put into my body. We just made this a place for learning, and really before the COVID, we were doing 50 or 60 field trips a year out here. Today you saw I think we had roughly 60 to 80 kids out here today, and it's really rewarding. There's nothing that makes you feel better than especially watching the kids that really are going to take it in. And from the field trips before, I actually have boxes at home that are filled up with hundreds and hundreds of letters that parents have written to me, thanking us for what we did out here and educating their children. Their children were actually excited to go grocery shopping and actually teaching their parents things about healthy eating that unfortunately their parents didn't even know. Getting them engaged at a young age, especially, these are fifth graders here today, very impressionable. I think that if you can just spark the minds of a handful of the children, that we can leave an impact that'll last a lifetime. First thing that really made me want to purchase this piece of property was this beautiful oak tree here. Very, very rare to find an oak tree that's this big. This thing's hundreds of years old, and to be this far south and to not have been disturbed by all the hurricanes that come through. As a matter of fact, when Hurricane Irma came by and it came directly through our farm, and we lost close to $17 million at that time. My concern was much less on the money than it was even like one of the first places that I came during the hurricane on that Sunday was to come and see if this tree was up, because I thought that the good chance that you can see how wide it is. It actually spans about 30 yards, from one end to the other, maybe 100 feet or more. And I thought for sure there had to be a massive amount of this tree down, because the eye came right through here, and every bit of it, as you can see, is intact. And I think that the tree house that we put there may have actually helped keep it sturdy. The mission here is to educate the kids about sustainable farming. It's to educate the kids about what's truly healthy eating, that some of what they're learning unfortunately from our own government is not really what I consider to be the best information, and to really, a lot of these kids don't know where the food comes from. They think that everything just comes out of the back of the grocery store. So they get to come out here and they get to see the fish, and they get to see the shrimp. We had the chickens. They were in there holding the eggs right when they came out of the backside of the chicken. We were out there giving them fresh milk that came straight out of the cow, and they get to see it, and they get to connect with it. And I think that nature intended for us to have that connection, and that connection has been lost through the worst thing is it always hurt me to go through these grocery stores that are cold and white floors, kind of an antiseptic feel about the way that you're going to buy food instead of out here in nature the way that it's supposed to be.
And how unique is this experience compared to what other kids would possibly experience in Florida?
We just pride ourselves on trying to take them through multiple levels. We actually let the kids plant, we let them harvest, and we really let them get kind of dirty in it. And
what kid doesn't like that?
Yeah, I mean, the kids have a blast. When we were doing so many of these years ago, and I just kept getting letter after letter saying this is the best field trip that they had ever done, and that was, I didn't expect to hear that. If it's the right type of education that makes it fun, and I truly believe that the children are hungry for this type of for this type of experience, to learn where the food truly really comes from.
Why is it so important for you to take this opportunity to inspire kids to possibly go into this industry?
We have a big lack of farmers, and traditionally farmers are not first generation farmers. They're farmers that come from a long line of family of farmers. I was a first-generation farmer, so I know that can be done, and I've also benefited from eating all of this. I feel like I'm extremely healthy because of having the benefit through my whole life, even before, there was no farmers in my family, but my father had fresh produce markets where all the farmers were bringing that product that was picked that day. So I got to have that live food. So I'm just wanting to pass on the benefits that I received, just kind of by the grace of God. I just lived an amazing life, and it's the same reason that I fight for our liberties, because I feel like I live the American dream, and I fight for that to allow, to continue that for other people, and the blessings that I have, I just want to pass on to others, and to be able to teach these kids about healthy eating, get them excited about coming out here and maybe even going home and planting some of their own food. There's really nothing more rewarding.
And how important is that for Florida's future?
When I was 18 years old and I was running out to Immokalee every day, there were hundreds of farmers out here just in this area in Immokalee. Right now we're down to maybe 5 or 7 farmers left. And all the farmers that are left are big guys that are vertically integrated like me. There's no such thing as just a farmer anymore out there. They've all went by the wayside. So it's not only is it important for Florida, it's important for our food security as a nation. Because if it's not coming from Florida, we're in this subtropical region right here. We used to supply 80% of the whole United States with vegetables and tomatoes during the winter. Now we supply less than 10%. Mexico has the other 90%. So that's dangerous for our security, to be dependent on another country to get our food from.
Do you charge anything to the schools for this?
No, we never charge. We've never charged at all. We actually try to give as much food that we can to the kids. The kids all go home with big bags of food, and it's makes you feel good. So we no matter how big it gets, I don't think we'd ever consider charging. I think it's such an important piece of learning that unfortunately they're not getting through the regular school system. And the teachers and the principal, we just did a field trip on Friday, and the principal wrote me an amazing letter thanking us, saying that the kids said it was a phenomenal experience, and that's what we want to provide, and we keep trying to get better at it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, from the smiles on those faces, it looks like you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. Feed the table!